This is day 10 of 12 days of Claudemas, where we've been vibe coding using Claude Code, various content creation utilities and tools. And we started off on day 1 working on the foundation. And what the foundation is this little application where we've got a menu to host each of the different tools. Today is about hooking up to workflow engines so that we can do advanced graphics, video, and image processing. Today, when we work with the N8N workflow, we're going to touch upon different ideas from the past. So we've got our primary brain, which we will use today to generate advanced prompts. When it comes to image generation and video generation, we're going to delegate that to the workflow engine. Yesterday, we were able to get human-based prompts that were just spoken into the camera, into a recording, and we were able to bring it in from the FlyHub application. The simple human prompt that you see here with a little bit of post-processing should be able to create images similar to this. We're going to do that using workflows for N8N created by Steve from DreamingComputers. If you want to find out more about the workflows he's doing for ComfyUI and N8N, then what you want to do is check out DreamingComputers. The link will be in the description. But for now, we're moving on to day 10 of the 12 days of Claudemas, which is about hooking into these sorts of workflows. I'm happy, Dave. Let's get into it. I think for today, we're going to take a 3-step process. So the first one is dealing with these human prompts that we get from the FlyHub system. What I want to do is maybe take these 3 boxes and a little bit of a load box, and we'll go over to the N8N workflow and we'll just be able to load them there as well. Then in step 2, what I want to do is just send the basic human prompts through to an N8N workflow, and just based on those prompts alone, just see what sort of video recording we could get just using the simple human prompts. And then lastly, we'll go to the N8N workflow where we'll have our little text boxes, and we'll put in a more advanced system that's probably using the Agent SDK brain to help us generate an image prompt, an edit prompt, and an animation prompt. Let's get started down in Claude Code where we normally are. We've got a new instance. I've run a progress command just to find out where the application is up to. So I've got the product owner loaded in, and I'm just giving this simple instruction for phase 1 that we load in the information from day 2, which is the 3 human prompts. They're basically the seed for the image, the edit of the image, and the animation instruction. I do have a pre-planning document which has some ideas about the endpoint, so we just need to hook up a generate button to that endpoint. So that part of the instruction should deal with this area here, dealing with a payload, giving it some prompts. Maybe we can give it an extended payload if we'd like. And then what we need is some sort of visualization of 2 images at the very least and 1 video file. I expect that this could take 2 to 3 minutes on a slow work cycle. Our application needs to deal with long wait limits on the request cycle. Now let's just press enter, let the product owner deal with writing our requirements. So we've asked it to use the front-end design. We've got this mission control idea. We've got the key decision points. And it started writing a bit of code. In fact, it looks like it's finished. Let's head over and see what we got. This is looking pretty good. It's missing one concept that I really would like it to have. And that's the load project button that we had here on the intake form, because we should be able to get our data from FlyHub. Once it's loaded in, just run the workflow. I'm just kicking off this little prompt, letting it know that it looks great. I just want to use the load system that we did on day 9. And currently it's making an update to the day 10 file. So we should see something come through here any moment. Bunch of code just kicked in. It looks like something's coming through on. We'll do a load project. Great. Now we've got the information from yesterday. Now, if you also didn't see how these were loaded in yesterday, they were coming from these videos that we have here. So the first prompt is the text that you see down below. Then we got the second and we got the third. And all of that information was being extracted out of the transcripts API endpoint. So I think we can do our first test. I don't know whether there's any bugs. We'll just press and there is straight away. So with the workflow failed to start, what I've done is I've asked it to go and add general logging into the system plus extra logging when we do the generate button itself. Now, I suspect the issue is that I don't have a production URL. Let's put that in. So it's made extensive changes. The main one we're interested in is that we've got an N8N webhook. Now it's just putting in some information about what the startup server will show. We've got the new value. Let's go down to the server itself and have a look. We can see it's configured here. We can now try and test out this workflow again. Now let's try our second attempt, and we're executing and we've got another error. If we look at the console log, what we can see here is that we don't have the webhook registered. So we need to activate it on N8N. What I'll do is I'll send a message through to Steve from DreamingComputers. He can activate that N8N workflow. And then when we do our third test, hopefully this will come through with images and a video. It's going a lot longer than normal, so this is a good sign. While that's running, I will point you through to the debug that we were doing on the side, because one of the issues was that punctuation was getting into the prompt, and that wasn't going to be valid. You can see that Claude has come through here and cleaned it up quite nicely. So far, the workflow that we're running is about 1 minute in. So I've currently got Steve on the line while we're doing this. He said that the 2 images have been generated. We're into the video generation stuff right now, and hopefully we're only less than 20 seconds away from an output coming back through to the interface. And it looks like it's starting to generate the images. It says it's done. Let's see if we see something visual. It looks like a bit of a problem here. And I have been told that things are working on the N8N workflow side, but look what happens when we bring up the console. We got a couple of resolution issues. I've put in the console log from the browser and the server log, which actually looks okay. And we'll just say there was something wrong. I think the images came back okay in the URL, but they didn't get displayed. Here's a screenshot. So we'll just put that prompt in. And I've come through and just taken a screenshot of how we see these missing values. And we'll just paste that in right here and see whether we get an answer to it. You can notice that there are some images. I'll see if I can open them. So the placeholder is an issue, but the images themselves, they've come through. We're meant to be transitioning from this image through to this variation. We have a little video here. Let's go and click on that, and there it's coming through. Wow, that's pretty cool. So that was just based off our human prompts. Like I said, we haven't fixed the placeholder issue right now. But what I'd like to do is run another requirements document that can just improve on this so that we don't just have the import source that you see right here, but that we run them all through a little prompt. I'm just going to paste in a bunch of information here and then talk about it. Can you take this prompt and turn it into a requirements document, please? We'll just let that come through. And the essence of this prompt is that I want to take the 3 human values that we've been seeing here. I want to run them through a compilation prompt, which will turn them into a machine readable format that's just better for the generation of the main image. It will think of things that I didn't consider when I just spoke these values. For the edit prompt, it'll think of anything related to editing that should be in here. And for the animation prompt, it will think of it like things like how do cameras pan or whatever it needs to do. Right now, we've just let that go through. It's building up our requirements document, and then we should be able to do a development. It's updated a document for us. We can see the workflow going on here, human through system into generated machine prompt. And you can see some of the things that the compilation prompt is trying to do is work with the idea of what type of engineer would create these images, or what type of engineer would do the image-to-image editing. And of course, we've got what sort of engineer would do the video generation or the animation. With the developer loaded, we've just asked, can he implement it? Now, I think we are nearly through to the end. There's been a fair bit of development going on, and it's in the full test at the moment. It's got a change log that it's written. So we can see what was built. We've got a 6-panel system kicking in. We've got the system prompts. We've got the machine generation prompts. and we've got a modification to the workflow integration. Come over to our application. We'll load in the human readable stuff. This is going to allow us to do the machine prompts. We haven't tested this yet. It hasn't failed so far. What we're hoping is that these 3 values will be better than the 3 values that are up here. I thought the images and the videos were pretty good, so I'm not sure whether it's really going to matter. But what we've done is kicked off the machine readable version. It's taking a little while, but let's just pop down to another thing that's going on right now. So I've absorbed all the N8N workflows, and we're just going to build up 4 different slides so that we can talk about that as well. And all of what we're about to see is part of another application I've vibe coded, which is my FlyDeck system. I used it recently for a long video that I did on the BMAD method, where I turned a lot of the information that's in raw text into these nice visualizations that help people understand what's going on. It's completed. Now the images are showing. We've got obviously a different image going on here, and we'll hit play. That is nuts. Now, personally, is it any better than this other variation, which we'll play right here? And it's debatable. I think they're both great. But what I do know is that this version of it is at least using extra ideas that an expert would come up with when coming up with the prompts for creation, for editing, and for animation. We'll come back to our system, just waiting for the generation of the N8N workflows to kick in. But while that's happening, let's go and have a look at a little bit of the work that Steve does, because he has these incredible videos that he does, and you can see the character consistency coming through. I'm not playing it with the audio, but there's this awesome music that he's done using Suno in the background. Let's have a quick chat about what we're going through. So it is made up of, first one is the creation of the first image. Is we create a second image as an edit. On the last one, we're doing the video. It had a little bit of an error in the end of the recording. I wasn't able to demonstrate flows, but the main thing is that we've got the image generation working using N8N. We were using Kai provider, and the model we were using was Nano, but the actual video generation, we were using Gling.AI. I'm Happy Dave. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next.